Hey, now's that time to wrap up with this main one shot. This is the final part of this main one shot, and then I'll tell you about it more at the end of this video. So just keep watching. But for now, let's read this final part of this main one shot called Mind Flame. So, alright, let's get started. Oh, and by the way, you don't miss anything at all. So the last verse is just nothing. How you holding up, buddy? Lance asked, dragging the tattoo gun across his best friend's back. It vibrates in his hand, familiar and confident, and he moves it like an extension of his arm, slow, steady, precise, and unwavering. The buzz of the machine fills the small shop, different pitches from his and Lura's guns, creating a rumbling white noise beneath the radio and beneath the conversation. Wrapping them all up, holding them tight. It's cozy. All these people he considers family, in a place he considers a home. Hunk gives him a thumbs up. Feeling good. Lance cocks an eyebrow. Really? He pauses, glancing up to see the Hunk wins. Well, it was pretty bad, but my back went numb like 20 minutes ago. So I'm good. He chuckles, pulling the gun back and wiping away excess blood and ink. Leaning away to admire his work, Hunk twists to glance over his shoulder, like he somehow might be able to see it. How's it going back there? Lance hums, holding to himself as he goes back in for a few more touches. Good, just about done with this section. I could probably move to the other side if you want to keep going, or we can work on it again another time. It's cool. Go ahead and finish up. He pulls out his phone, scrolling through it. I mean, shave for lunch soon anyway. Ooh, Lance goes from behind him, laughing when Hunk stiffens. Lance, a day. It's not like that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, she's just a friend. Yup. Who admire her very much. And is very pretty too. He sighs, slumping a little in his feet. Very, he says, sounding wistful. It's cute. Lance chuckles, patting his shoulder. You guys are hopeless. Just ask her already. Like, actually ask her out. As in, define it as a date. He huffs. It's not that easy. What if she says no? What if she says yes? I. Come on, buddy. At this rate, you'll be dancing around each other loner than me. And keep it. He says, not sure anyone can be that oblivious to mutual attraction. Okay, first of all, rude, he says, but he's holding back a laugh, wide smile stretching his lips as he glances around Hunk to the next station over where Keith is perched on one of the tattooed chairs. It's laid out flat, and he sits in the middle of it, cross-legged, back bent forward, drumsticks in his hand as the Italy beat them embarrassed patterns on the smooth, fake leather. The sound is dull and rhythmic, and blends seamlessly into the white noise around the shop. It's become a part of their usual atmosphere over the past few months. Buzzing guns, music from the radio, Lance stopped singing. Allura's rich alto voice harmonizing with his. Casual conversation, laughter, beeping from pitched 3DS, vibrating of bones, the dull beats of Keith's drumsticks, the occasional chime of the bell above the door. Keith's eyes are closed, head bobbing and swaying hair dancing around his face. He's lost in his own little world, in the music in his mind, in the feeling of the beat he lays into the chair. The melody only he can hear. He used to be awkward and stiff when hanging around the shop, self-conscious of things like this, didn't want to stand out. Now he's comfortable just being himself, doing what he wants to do, trusting his friends to see him doing what he loves and knowing they don't mind. He's just making himself at home and adding to the ambient sound. Lance's heart melts a little bit. No, scratch that. His heart melts instantly and completely. He's adorable and cute and blends in perfectly to the backdrop of Altea tattoos. Makes Lance all warm fuzzy. It's not sure how long he stares, but it's long enough for Hunk to know exactly what he's doing. Long enough for him to realize he's just been sitting there with this ridiculously goofy smile on his face. Hunk clears his throat loudly, small, knowing smirk playing on his lips as he gazes at Lance over his shoulder. Lance's eyes snap to him, toning his grin down just a notch. And second of all, you should Just go for it, dude. I've seen the way she looks at you. And if she turns you down, I'll eat my own arm. Ugh, please don't bore yourself. Please, bore yourself. Paige chimes in. Please don't discuss bull in my establishment. Miller cuts in from across the room, causing them both to snicker. Lance passes back, sending Ted to gun aside. All done here, buddy. Let me just clean you up. He pushes himself to his feet, stretching his arms high above his head to prop his back before tossing the paper towel in his hand and grabbing a new one. How you doing over there, Coran? He calls, wetting the towel and wiping down Hunk's back. A loud roar answers him, trailed off into a whine. On the other side of where Keith's perched in a station, the chair is laid back, and Coran lays on his stomach, face buried in his crossed arms. He's doing great, Allura says, smiling as she lifts the gun from the back of his cap and pats his leg. I can't believe you guys closed the shop to get tattoos together, Lance snickers, tossing the paper towel away. Hawk shrugs. Corinne was gonna close up anyway, since I had time. I figured I'd get more work done if you were free. My best customer, he says. No, I think that's key. Yeah, he says, hearing the fondness creeping in his voice. Key makes him so gross and sappy. He is. I personally can't believe he shaved his legs for this. Allura mutters, loud enough for them all to hear. Corinne lifts his hand and scuffs at them. Well, what was I supposed to do? Have you shaved me? She shrugs, smiling lips. Most people do, yes. He looks scandalized, mouth hanging open, mustache bobbing, eyes wide, and quickly sleeping. Allura hides a smile behind hand, biting back a laugh. He finally scoops again, lifts his chin, looking away. Well, I would never do such a thing. I was being considerate. But did you have to shave like your entire leg? Hunk asked. You could just shave the spot where you wanted your tattoo and have a ridiculous bald spot. I think not. Or you could have just shaved one leg. Paige puts in from where she's sitting at the front desk. Feet prop up, lean back in the chair, 3DS in her hands. Even more preposterous, he snips, and advances the leg that Laura isn't currently tattooed to point his toes towards it. Besides, I think they look good at killer cops, so why hide them? That's the spirit, Lance says with a laugh, putting the pads to Hunk's back and taping them in place. All done, buddy, he says, put off his gloves and tossing them. You know the drill. Leave that on for about an hour, then let it breathe for the rest of the day. Still got the Aquaphor for the last time? Yep. Nice. Use it. The first couple of days, I remember. Cool. Hunk pulls his shirt back on and turns to face him. They clasp hands, pulling each other in for a hug and patting each other's shoulders. Thanks, dude. Anytime, bro. Pitch will ring you up. Ow, what now? Pitch says, lifting their gaze and giving them both a flat look. He rolls his eyes. You heard me. Pull some weight around here. I will stab you with a needle. You already have. Several times. You're very good at it. Thank you. As Huck steps up to the front desk, Lance wanders over to the chair where his boyfriend sits, still blissfully unaware of anything else happening. At ease, simply letting conversation move around him without needing to pay attention. Lance just watches him for a moment, taking in the way his nose crinkles just a little, the way his mouth moves in small movement, muttering words or sounds. Cute. Freaking adorable. Not fair. He reaches out, brushing his knuckles up the line of strong jaw. He startles, eyes have been open and glancing at him out of the corner of his eyes, relaxing when he sees it just Lance. His drumming doesn't stop. Lance's hand moves up, fingers pushing into the thick mane of his brushing it back from his face. Keith leans into the touch, lips quirking into a small, lopsided smirk as Lance leans in and presses a kiss to his temple, his cheek, his nose. He tilts his head back, knowing exactly what Lance wants. Their lips meet. The kiss is long and languid, chaste on the surface but lingering, reveling in the feeling in the warmth, so soft, so tender, full of far too many emotions to name. Lance's chest tightens. Warmth pulsing in his veins as butterflies fluttering in his stomach, mind going fuzzy with the extent of it. Slowly, Keith's drumming comes to a stop, sticks falling loose and forgotten in his grip. Months. It's been months. Nearly 6 months, and it's still like this. At this rate, he doesn't think kissing will ever change, and he's okay with that. Hey, no making out in the workplace! Pitch snaps, and lances up his head, turning to glare at her. Keith blinks, eyes looking dazed and lit until they sharpen with clarity as he follows his gaze to Pidge. Once she has his attention, she repeats what she said. No making out in the workplace. Keith flips her off, reaches up to wrap around her hand in the back of his neck, and pulls Lance back down for another kiss. This one is nothing. Like its predecessor, it's hot and heavy, sloppy and wet. Keith wastes no time shoving his tongue into his mouth, and even it's all for show. It's simply an act of rebellion to girls our pitch. Lance can't help the little whine that sounds in the back of his throat. When Keith pulls back, there's a satisfied look in his face. Dark eyes gleam dangerously as he uses the back of his gloves to wipe the spit from that proud smirk. Lance blinks at him for a moment, trying to calm back down to earth. Pitch makes loud gagging sounds, completely fooled by the motion for Keith's benefit. Lance just smiles softly, running his fingers through Keith's hair and pushing it back to press a kiss to his forehead before stepping back. Sorry, Pitch. The customer is always right, he grins, turning on his seat to go back and clean up station. Pitch rolls her eyes, spinning the tablet around for Hank to swipe his card and pay. He's not a customer right now. Lance shrugs. He might as well be with how often he comes back. Pitch smirks, leaning back in her chair as she makes eye contact with Keith. He'll get coming back because he's thirsty AF. With a scowl, Keith throws the drumstick at her. She screeches and throws up her arms and legs at the bend, even as if the stick goes wide with clatters to the ground. Lance laughs. Okay, but rude. My work is extraordinary, and Keith obviously wanted to do the best. His butt is nice too. Yeah, thanks, babe. He just grins. Back straight, looking far too proud of himself. By the time Lance cleans up his station, Keith is waiting for him by the front door, talking to Honk. Honk's ASL has come a long way recently. They started to learn it back when they first met. But since they started dating, Keith's been around a lot more. He's picking up quickly in both him and Laura. Grant, as it turns out, is very fluent, which ends up being both surprising and not at all. Lance slides up next to Keith, slipping an arm around his waist. He doesn't look away from where Hunk is enthusiastically displaying his newest creation, but his smile widens just a fraction, and he leans to Lance's side. They all walk out together before exchanging fist bumps and goodbyes with Hunk before he heads toward his car across the street. So, where to for lunch, babe? Keith slips away. Keith slips away from his side, taking his hand and walking backwards into the parking lot. His free hand goes to his face, pulling away quickly and sliding on his thumb and forefinger, some smirk on his lips. Surprise. Lance grins. Ooh, kinky. Keith rolls his eyes, turning around to hide his whining smirk as he pulls him toward his bike. Lance follows after him, knows deep down that he'll always follow after him. Drawn to those dark eyes and the spark of fire within him. Drawn to those pouty lips, accented with metal, and always drawn to a smirk, a pout, a smile, a frown. Drawn to those expensive brows and the way his nose crinkles. Drawn to his warmth, his kindness, the soft edges of him hidden behind the jagged pieces. Because when it comes right down to it, Dan's drawn to him, irrevocably, inexplicably, unconditionally and apologetically. His delicate little spitfire, warm like the morning sun and dangerous as a raging wildfire. Lance trod to him like a moth to a flame. And that is it for that main one shot. I'm glad I just reread the whole one shot. For all the 12 ones I've done, I just reread this whole thing. After all of those and things at the concert and everything else, they're going back to the shop and there it is. The boyfriend's just standing there. Boyfriend's always come around, you know? You probably all know that one. So okay. That's a really interesting story. And I'm glad I had to read this again for you guys after 6 years. Because it was 2017 I read this fic. So right now, 2023, and I have to read this again just to make it more, give us a little flair, right? Just a little bit of sauce. Okay, now that we're done with the main thing, I'm gonna tell you about this one. This story about Moth Flame. So I'm about to tell you right now that the Moth Flame has its own sequel. This is the fic I have never this is the fic I have never done this one. I haven't read this anything. I didn't skim through all of it. So I want to keep this as cold read. So yeah, there is a good one shot, and I will tell you about it in the next video. Okay. Yeah, I'm very excited to read this sequel. Okay. This is the sequel that I have never read this before. Again, this is the sequel. There is more comes within lands and keep. Yeah, there's a lot of things going on right here for this particular one shot. So yeah, I'll give you all that details on the next video. Okay. So for now, we're done with the main shot. So let's do this one shot in the next video. So see you then. Bye.